everyone, my name is Smile. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, I teach development leaders and individuals how to use tech-enabled and data-driven strategies and solutions to drive measurable and real impact and development within African communities. In this channel, I talk about smart development, impact without burnout, faith-based reflections, and personal development tips for purposeful living. So if you're interested in any of the topics that I mentioned, do well to be a part of the family by subscribing. Bye. Let me tell you something that is uncomfortable but true. A lot of development organizations are losing millions of money, 50 million, 100 million, and much more. And it's not because funding is unavailable or because donors are wicked. It's simply because these organizations keep repeating this same mistake that is completely avoidable. And they do it so many times and they don't even realize. In this video, I'm going to break down the 50 million naira mistake that development organizations keep making that drains them of funding, impact, and credibility. And most importantly, I'm going to talk about how we can fix that problem. So if you work within the development sector, you work on a donor-sponsored project, government program, or within the CSR team of an organization, this video is certainly for you. So why don't you grab a seat and sit down so we can have a conversation. The 50 million naira mistake that development organizations keep making is that they treat data, technology, and systems as an afterthought instead of treating it as infrastructure. You see, for regular development organizations, the process usually looks something like this: program first, funding first, reporting later. But when it comes to technology, they leave it for whatever is left off in their budget. And so they go on and on, rolling out interventions and projects worth millions of naira without proper systems. They use WhatsApp reporting, Excel sheets, fragmented tools, and no real-time data. And for some of them, they actually think they're saving money, but in the actual sense, they are bleeding millions of naira. Let me show you how all of this adds up. Number one, poor monitoring and evaluation. When data is handled manually, it's usually scattered. And when data is scattered, impact is almost impossible to prove. Reports take so much time to be compiled and errors begin to creep in. Number two, duplicate efforts and wastage of resources. When systems are fragmented, team members duplicate the same tasks, like they work on the same tasks multiple times. Resources are misappropriated, and sometimes beneficiaries are documented or registered multiple times. I've actually seen an organization fund the same activity 3 times, and that was simply because their teams were not in sync. Number three, missed opportunities and funding. You see, in recent times, a lot of grant opportunities now require digital reporting, data dashboards, tech-enabled accountability systems, and real-time visibility. And when you're unable to demonstrate these things, you are quietly disqualified. No rejection mails, no explanation, just silence. And this is how a lot of development organizations are missing out on tons of money. And the truth is that the money loss is a big deal, a very big deal, but the damage actually runs deeper than money loss. Credibility erosion. When your reports don't add up, or when your timelines slip, when your impact stories begin to sound vague, you become that organization that donor agencies are cautious of. Staff burnout. When your data is scattered, it becomes very difficult to compile information or reports. And so your team spends multiple nights trying to clean data, multiple weeks trying to compile resources. You begin to lose team members. Institutional knowledge begins to get lost. And lastly, stalled scaling. The truth is that you can't scale what you can't track. You can't replicate what you cannot measure. And so this is the reason why a lot of organizations remain small. It's not necessarily because the impact they are making is small, it's because their systems are. But the good news is all of these problems are completely fixable. And you don't even require Silicon Valley budgets to fix it. All you have to do is these 4 things I'm going to point out, and you have to ensure that you do them well. The first thing to do is to treat technology as a core infrastructure. The same way you treat legal, finance, and operations as core infrastructure or core processes within your project, you need to do the same thing with technology. Technology should be integrated into your project design and not added at the end. So before you start implementing your next project, before you even design that next project, you need to start asking strategic questions. Questions like, how will data be collected? How will the data collected be stored? How will that data be visualized? And most importantly, how can we track impacts in real time? Number two, you need to build a unified system, not 10 different tools doing 10 different things. You need automated responses, you need smart routing for your information, you need a centralized system of beneficiary data, and you also need an integrated dashboard. That way you cut down on time. It's going to take you to compile reports and all of that. You cut down on cost, and you also make sure that error is minimized. Number three, you need to build tech capacity. The truth is that a lot of development organizations outsource anything that has to do with digital or tech, and that's not exactly a smart way to go about it. Smarter organizations are building digital literacy, they are training their teams, they are raising tech champions within their very organizations. And the beautiful thing about that is that when a consultant works out, your entire system does not come crashing down. Number three, you need to integrate transparency or accountability from the very start. When transparency is visible, when your accountability systems are, very visible, your donors relax. It makes it easy for reporting to take place. It makes it easy for, you to see the progress of things, the flow of things, and most importantly, it builds trust. And for anybody who works in this industry, I feel it goes without saying that trust is a currency. When you build trust, you attract funding. So if you work within a development project or in a development project and you've been asking certain questions like, why is it difficult to raise funding? Why are donors suddenly so demanding? Why are reports very difficult to compile? You may be making the 50 million naira mistake. Let me say that again. So if you work within the development space or you work in a development project and you've been asking questions like, why is funding difficult to come by? Why are donors, becoming so demanding? Why are reports difficult to compile? You may just be making the 50 million naira mistake. If this video was any help, if he was educational, if he helps you get insights, I encourage you to go ahead, like, subscribe, and share to someone who works within the development space. And if your organization is looking to build a tech-enabled, data-driven solution to drive real-time impacts that works, you already know where to find me. Till I come across you again, have an amazing day.